So every 15 minutes I have to get up apparently and make the camera record again. The phone doesn't have that problem, but the phone is not ideal for taking a video. If you want to take a good video, even an iPhone is not ideal. What is ideal is a camera, but I will figure it out. I will see what to do with that. Make the camera take a video that lasts as long as it takes me here to do all my talk and my discussions and everything. So I think I was done. I was done with that one. So that was 17. I had a lot to talk about 17. So 18, 265. 265. So typically when I talk more, when I extend myself more, it is because I feel that that topic in particular is going to be more useful for whoever is listening. I felt that it was more useful for me to realize that, to think about that, to know that. So that's why I take more time when I get to those ideas. If I barely take any time, I'm not gonna say it was a crappy idea, but it was something that just was worth mentioning quickly. But it was something that probably wasn't too big of a deal to go too deeply into it. So page 265. So this says 18A, but there's an 18B as well. And the 18B is the example. So in the book, there's the idea and the example. So this one's gonna be used in the book. Okay, so I think this is Jake's talking. But what you love and what you feel you must do are sometimes different things. So what you love and what you feel you must do are sometimes different things. That is typically the case when you didn't date the right person or something like that, but that's the person that you thought that you liked, or it felt that way at least, but then you realize that that's not good for you. So you need to make a choice, and hopefully you will make a wise choice. Otherwise, you'll be one of the people that will be sorry about not making that choice later on down the road. So you have to make a choice about not a choice for what you want, because what you wanted at that moment was that person. Pretty obvious, that's why you were dating. But a choice for what is best. Because what is best, in many cases, the younger you are, the more that is the case. It's not what you thought that you wanted. So if you realize it, wonderful, because that means that you're not a fool, you're learning, you're making better choices. But if you realize it, don't stay there with a bad choice. Don't keep it going to see if it turns out to be something else. If you already realized it, you need to change it, make another choice. Okay, so let me see what I wrote here. Okay, so Okay, so let me read this again to put you in focus and to put myself in focus again. But what you love and what you feel you must do are sometimes different things. What I wrote here, this is especially true when we're dealing with other people or when we are influenced by other people. So, if you were influenced by something or someone, and at that point you thought that it was what was best for you, and you went on with it because you thought that it was what was best for you, but you were influenced by what you saw from someone else, and this happens to a lot of people. So you saw it for this other person, so then you think, and it makes sense to you that, oh, that's gonna work for me, or that is a good thing for me, or that's the way to go, and then you do that, or you go there, or whatever it was, you do it, and then you realize that, oh, it wasn't so great for you. What are you gonna do? continue going there and continue doing that when you already realize that it wasn't so great. No, you need to change the course, change the route, and do what is truly best for you. Okay, so this and the example. When the other players learned Jakes was leaving them, there was a great deal of hugging and crying that had to be accompanied, that had to be accomplished before they will let him depart. So Jakes, obviously I'm considering that you already read the book Song of the Wanderer, because this philosophical discussion is based on it. So you read Into the Land of the Unicorns, which is the first book of the Unicorn Chronicles, and then you read Song of the Wanderer. This is where all these ideas came from. So if I had not read them, I wouldn't have gotten all these ideas that I'm sharing with you right now. So Jakes had, you know, if Jakes went by what he loved, he probably would have stayed with this band of they were not clowns, but it was almost like a band of clowns from the Queen, something like that. So he enjoyed that, so he will have stayed with them. He will have stayed there with them. But he felt that he had to repay something that I think they haven't revealed yet. They haven't completed the story between Jakes and Evie Morris, the grandmother of Kara, and what really happened between them. They haven't covered that yet. I'm hoping that they do it in book 3. I think they will do it in book 3. If not, they're gonna leave for the last book, for the 4th book. But obviously, Jakes has a responsibility, some sense of need to do something for her because of something that happened between him and her. So he's not doing this. It's not clear whether he's doing this for love or responsibility, but whichever one of the two he's doing it for, he's not doing it for the other. So if he's doing this for love to Evie Morris, it means that basically he let go of responsibility because of that love. And if he's doing it for responsibility, he loved what he was doing and he left that which he loved because there's something that Evie did for him that probably made him want to repay her. So it's an example in the book. One of these cases where you're doing it is not necessarily what you love or what you really wanted at that point, but you realize that it is what is right. It is what you need to do. It is what has to be done. So it's one of those things that you either feel it or you don't, and when you feel it, it's clear. You don't need someone else to come to you and prove to you that has to be done. You just know. So number 19, page 277. 277. So 19, I put an asterisk in there, so there has to be something good here then. So let me read what it says. I was following you because I was concerned about Kara. You want me to believe that you have a sense of responsibility? Asked Moonheart scornfully. Okay, so you who have defied your family and refused your place at court. By the way, English is not my first language. So if I stutter at something or I kind of confuse something, I think I will probably do it. I know English pretty well by now, but it is still not my first language. So if you see something like right now when I was reading this and there was one word I didn't say right, it's because of that, basically. So, okay, I remember what this is. So, Lightfoot came to help them, but Moonheart has this vision of Lightfoot as someone that doesn't want to take responsibility because he's young and he just went away and did whatever he wanted. So Moonheart keeps looking at him that way. He has this vision of him, and even when Lightfoot is doing things that already show that he's brave and that he's now more responsible than before, Moonheart is still looking at him in the same way as before, because of that experience that he had with Lightfoot before. So basically, let me read to you what I put there. So 19, putting yourself into other people's shoes to understand them better. Doesn't mean you will agree with them. So obviously it's a big skill to have. If you can put yourself into other people's shoes and read them, and even though you're not in their minds, you can almost see how they think. It's a wonderful skill to have. I have experienced it a few times. I may have something like that, who knows, but I don't think I have developed it too much. It's still there, no? Kind of. So, but even if you put yourself in their shoes, even if you could do that, it doesn't mean that you will agree with them or you will do things the way they do them. But it can be, a good thing at least to be able to understand why they do the things they do. Because all of us, there's a reason why we do everything. There's a reason why I'm doing this video right now, because I like doing it basically. I like giving this talk, and I like sharing all these ideas that I have instead of just keeping them to myself. But it's not just me. There's a reason why everyone does everything that they do every day. For some people the reason is more complex, for some people it's extremely simple, but there is always a reason. And even if you don't think that there's a reason, there's one, because you are choosing to do it, so there's something there. So, if you have this skill to be able to see and understand why others do something, it helps you to expand your view of mankind and how different people think. Different people think in different ways. Makes sense, right? And most importantly, why they think that way. If you want to be a good psychologist, it's more about understanding the why. It's not just about saying what happened, but understanding why that happened based on the people that were involved and what they did. It's almost always something personal. It's a personal choice and a personal way of thinking. And when all those things clash, something happens between a group of people or among the members of a group of people. And the most important part of this is not to judge the other people, but to understand them. Because with more understanding, there's a lot of doors that open to you. If you want to pass some idea of yours to someone else, you will do it more effectively because you understand them better. If you want to communicate better, you will do it more effectively because you understand what the other people are thinking when they will hear what you're gonna say. So you're like prepared for everything, even for what they're gonna think. And it's a difficult skill because you have to be open-minded, but not just open-minded. It's more than just that. You have to be humble, and you have to understand that you have to be more in the side of the other people so you can think like them, and then after that you can come back to your side again. But you have to be, it's you have to be very open-minded with this. If you're not, it's not gonna happen, basically. So let me read to you something else I wrote here in the book itself, on the book. So this is a human trait. I'm thinking that I probably was thinking about the ability to be able to see what other people think. Seeing things just from our perspective clouds our vision of the whole picture. Okay, finally, this is how much I think about stuff. So finally I'm going into the original example. So Moonheart doesn't have this ability to see and to understand how Lightfoot thinks. If he had that, he will be able to make peace with Lightfoot, and they will understand each other much better, and they will actually have a good, a good relation with each other. They will be able to live together in harmony. But because Moonheart only sees things from his perspective, and he never puts himself in the, I was gonna say the shoes, but we're talking about unicorns, so it is in the foot, or the feet, the 4 feet, right, of the other horse, then he doesn't understand the whys, the reasons behind everything that the other guy did, which wasn't because of lack of responsibility, but because of his way of thinking. So it wasn't because he wasn't responsible, it was because his way of thinking made him act that way. So if Moonheart had that ability, he will be able to make peace and harmony with Lightfoot. But since he doesn't have it, it's war between him and Lightfoot. And this happens between people, between human beings. When there are two people, and there's just one of them